What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a great day today. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've been trying to figure out for myself, and that subject being, don't let your job get in the way of you chasing your dreams. Now, I'm not here to knock, the 9 to 5 grind. I'm doing it myself right now, and I know it is crucial. I mean, we all got to eat, and it is important to have a job, just to build structure in your life, to build up your resume, to gain certain skills, to get your foot in the door of whatever career you want to pursue. But I'm in my mid-20s, and I work a very not only physically demanding job, but also a very time-consuming job. Some days I'm working, only 8 or 9 hours. Other days I could work up to 14, 15 hours. It really depends. And I know that's not what I want for myself long term. I don't just want to work to live, if that makes sense. No. I want to work to live, but I don't want to live to work. So, because I see a lot of these guys that I work with, a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, they're doing the same thing I'm doing, and they're middle-aged, some of them are, elderly, I guess, in their 50s and 60s and everything. Not that that's elderly, but, 67. I know some guys, I've worked with some guys in their 70s. So, and if you're like me, if you're in your mid-20s, you kind of feel stuck in a career that's not really getting you anywhere. Or even if you're working a career that you love and has a lot of growth potential and you're making a lot of money in. Because I do make pretty decent money in my career myself. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. But it's important to, if you have dreams beyond what your career is, if you have passions that you want to pursue that you think your work is getting in the way of, I know it's easier said than done, but try to find a way to fit those passions in your life, even if that's just for an hour a week, 10 minutes a day, whatever that may be, just so you're never settling, and like I said, if you're my age, if you're in the position I'm in, mid-20s, you're in the prime of your life, even though we still have a lot of time left, the window does get smaller and smaller every day. And I don't say that to, make anybody anxious or discourage anybody, but every day that you spend, not pursuing your dreams, just doing what you got to do to get by, is one less day that you have on this earth to do what you really love to do. And it could be anything, whether you want to pick up a hobby, learn an instrument, work on yourself physically, improve your financial situation. And that's a good segue into another reason why I believe it's important to want bigger and better for yourself is, let's face it, once again, nothing wrong with just working a 9 to 5, retiring in your 60s and living out the rest of your days like that, playing it safe. But in reality, we do live in an economy where our dollar is losing more and more value every day. People have to pick up side hustles and side careers just to get by. And we're not really living in the old days where you could just pick one company, work for them for, 30 years and retire with everything you need to never work again. It's just not the way that things work anymore. And I think a lot of people my age are seeing that, and a lot of people my age are taking the steps necessary to not only improve their income, but also to improve their skills, also to find ways to make money without having to sell your time for it. Warren Buffett once said, if you don't learn how to make money in your sleep, you'll work until you die. And I think that quote is more relevant now than ever. So whatever it is that you want to do in your life, just don't let your work kill those dreams for you. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying to not prioritize your job, because obviously, you know, you got to eat. Making money is crucial for survival, at least in, you know, the United States, or well, pretty much everywhere in the world. But yeah, you know, you have to work and you have to contribute to society, and that's a very good thing. And you know, I guess I'm just making this video to light that fire under your ass a little bit, because it's hard. You know, I explained my working situation earlier. It's hard to get home from work and you know, want to go put your energy into a whole other, you know, side hustle, hobby, some whatever endeavor it is. You know, I do martial arts on the side. I'm also taking some classes on the side. I'm trying to do more of this YouTube thing on the side. You know, I have some side hustles going on, and yeah, it's the last thing I want to do when I get home from work is to continue, you know, working, at least mentally. But if not now, then when? You know, because you don't want to look back at yourself when you're getting older and you're slowing down and everything, and just, you know, long for what could have been. And don't let failure discourage you either, because obviously there's going to be people in whatever field. I'll use, you know, martial arts as an example. I'm only able to do martial arts, you know, 3 times a week, and a lot of the times when I go, it's after work and I'm tired. And you know, I train with guys who have been doing it just as long as me, and sometimes not even as long as me, and they're progressing way faster than I am. And you know, everyone has different situations, but a lot of them are, you know, they're a little younger than me. You know, maybe they have more free time. They're just college kids. You know, they're able to go, you know, 5-6 times a week and really, really train hard, and, you know, do conditioning outside of training. And it can get discouraging sometimes. It really can. But the way that I see it is I want to make my future self proud. Now, I want to look back in 10 years from now, whether or not I succeeded in what I wanted to do or I didn't, whether or not this YouTube thing succeeds, whether or not, you know, I'm going to be a great martial arts practitioner or not, whether or not even my career succeeds, and I might have to, you know, just change career, whatever it may be, I would at least want to try and fail than never try at all and wonder what could have been. And that's kind of the motto I have in my life now, because when I look back 10 years ago when I was a teenager, you know, 15, 16 years old, I made a lot of stupid decisions that negatively impacted my life. And to this day, I'm still making up for it. So I look back at myself then and, you know, just I'm not very proud of who I was back then. But I want who I am in my mid-30s to look back at who I was now and be proud of it and thank him, you know, for setting him up to be in the position that he'll be in 10 years, wherever that may be, or at least just to have the memories and the confidence to know that I went and I put myself out there and I gave the things that I wanted to do, I gave it my very best. And I'll be able to sleep well at night knowing that, you know. So yeah, it's just important to not, you know, money isn't everything, and it's important to give your spirit that fulfillment that it needs. And if work gives you that, more power to you, brother. I have nothing but good things to say about you, and there may come a time in my life where I'm gonna focus on nothing but one singular thing, you know, at work, or one singular work-related thing. But right now isn't that time for me. And right now might be that time for you. And maybe, you know, in your mid-30s or even 40s, you'll want to go and venture out and pursue other things. But just speaking, I can only speak from, you know, a mid-20s perspective. And that's where I feel like my spirit is taking me right now, is to figure out how to balance things. Find a work-life balance in any way you can. And don't neglect the things in life that are most important to you. because work isn't the most important thing on a spiritual level. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. I appreciate you guys, listening to my rambling. I hope that somebody gets something of substance out of this, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.